What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I want to address a question that I've been getting a lot from people just recently, and that is, why is the United States government messing with the American people? Why are they changing definitions? Why are they changing their minds? Why are they going back and forth? Why do they keep on doing these things? Well, let's talk about this. Because just recently, a lot of these new questions and discussions have been popping up, and the reason why is frightening, because the United States, or specifically the Biden administration, they have decided to change the definition of a recession. It used to be 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP was a recession, but the Biden administration, they can't afford to be in a recession right before the midterm elections, so they changed the definition. But the crazy thing about all this is that we still don't know what their actual definition is. But what makes matters worse is this. Right now, we might not have an actual confirmation as to when the true recession is for many more months. And I say this because back in 2001, we didn't get a confirmation on the recession until like 8 or 9 months later. In 2007, we didn't get a confirmation until about a year later. And in 2020, when the pandemic first hit, we didn't get a confirmation on the recession until 4 months after. That's how crazy this is. But here's what people are expecting. The expectation is that we will not get a confirmation until after the midterm election, so sometime after November, but it has to be early enough that it will not impact the presidential election 2024. Because according to reports, Democrats cannot afford to wait too long to fix any issues. So we'll see what happens there. Problem is, this is a huge concern. Because is this starting to be a political game? It looks like it. But here's the problem. When the United States government is playing games with the American people, it's not a good look. And for myself, it's not a good feeling. And I say this because what am I supposed to do, or what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to figure out what's going to happen or who to trust? Because we just don't know. Now, we've had it before where a president or an entire administration lies. That's nothing new. But to come out and just change a definition of something like a recession, or to come out and change inflation, that's crazy. Now, if the administration is going to change the definition of a recession, what else have they changed the definition on and just not told us? Will they declare another state of emergency due to President Biden testing positive today for the second time in less than 1 week? Yeah. He tested positive, then he tested negative for 4 consecutive days, and then he tested positive again. That's crazy. But are they going to change the definition of what is actually testing positive or negative? Potentially. But we also know the Biden administration could come out and they could pretty much change the definition of anything they want. Maybe they change the definition of who they consider a wealthy individual. Because if they change the definition and they say, oh no, anybody that makes less than $400,000, they could still be considered wealthy. Well, potentially, I guess, if you change the definition so much. But if you change the definition of what's considered truly wealthy, and instead of people that are worth more than $1 billion, now it's anybody worth more than $1 million, now we can charge everybody more in taxes. Well, they could do that. We could also see the current administration sell off our oil to all foreign countries, so that we, the American people, pay more for it to help pay off our national deficit. But then the American people, we're paying more for oil, which means we're also paying more in taxes. But yet the Biden administration can come out and say, nobody making less than $400,000 per year is going to pay a penny more in taxes. That's a promise. Well, you could also change the definition of a promise. The problem with what's going on right now, though, is that really nobody believes what the current administration is actually doing. And let me ask you this. When President Biden comes on TV, or when I talk about President Biden, you kind of eyes roll back and like, oh, here we go again. It's just another lie. Well, that's kind of the feeling. Because we were told that inflation was transitory. And just be patient, because it will go away. Right? Now we're seeing the highest inflation we have seen in the past 40 years. We were told that COVID would be temporary, and we just need to get the vaccine once it becomes available, and everybody will be perfectly fine. We'll have herd immunity. Then we were told, no, there will be no such thing as herd immunity. But again, not all lawmakers, they've received their vaccines. We know Congress can't get more funding to help COVID here in the United States because our government officials keep sending that money overseas to other countries. But again, we are technically in a recession based on old school definitions. But now, due to the fact that it doesn't benefit the current administration, they're deciding to change the definition. And it's crazy what's going on right now. But this is why I bring this up, because right now, the United States government is just toying with the American people. They tell us one thing, they do something completely different. President Biden told us a month ago we would have an answer on student loan forgiveness. So, all those people with student loans that amount to like $1.7 trillion, all those people are just waiting for that day that he comes out and says, you know what, we're going to forgive up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. Well, that was supposed to happen more than a month ago, and we still have no answers. So, what I can tell you right now is it's just going to be a waiting game. We saw this 2 years ago. After about 4 to 5 months of the pandemic, we saw lawmakers come out and say, we need to pass more. We need to pass more stimulus and more funding. We need to get the American people back to work, eradicate this virus. We need to do all that, but we need to be patient, and we need to wait and see. So here's what I can tell you is going to happen. We are going to wait and see again. We're going to wait and see what the new CPI report comes out and says on August 10th. We're going to wait and see whether our inflation rate is higher than 9.1% or lower. We're going to wait and see whether or not jobs come back a little bit quicker. We're going to wait and see what the Federal Reserve decides to do. Are they going to raise the interest rate another 75 basis points, or are they going to slow it down? Well, we're going to find out soon enough. But what I can tell you is all of these questions that we have, they're delaying the American people's dreams and their progress moving forward. Because do we buy a house? Do we go on a vacation? Do we have another child? All these things people are wanting to do or have questions on, but if we don't know what's actually happening, how can we make the best decision? So, what I can tell you is I will be here every step of the way. I will fill you in on what's going on, provide you with the facts as to what the Biden administration is doing and what lawmakers are saying and pretty much expecting to happen over the coming months. So again, all you gotta do, if you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, but make sure you are subscribed so you never miss an update. But again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.